What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, an interesting video for you here on the channel. Today is who will dethrone all the current champions, a monthly series on this channel. And today we're going to go and look at who will dethrone all the current champions again. So a lot of these might be a little bit similar, but I did want to change up a lot of the dark horses. There is some that I did change up a little bit, but let's just get started and let's talk about it. Up first, we're going to have Cody Rhodes. Who do I think is going to dethrone Cody Rhodes? I'm still going to go Randy Orton. I think it makes a lot of sense to have Randy Orton here because, one, they've already built the basis that Randy Orton might turn on Cody Rhodes in the future. I think it makes a lot of sense to have this heel Randy Orton to destroy Cody Rhodes and get that title. It will be interesting, though, to see if they go a different route with The Rock instead, who was my dark horse last time, but I changed up the dark horse this time. So let's talk about that dark horse. I think that's the main thing that's going to matter right now, and that is Braun Breaker is my dark horse here. Now, I want Braun Breaker to be the face of Raw, and I think that is what ultimately is going to happen, is Braun Breaker is going to be the face of Raw. But at the same time, if they would flip brands a little bit, switch up, maybe Cody stays on SmackDown, Braun Breaker maybe in a year goes to SmackDown instead. Maybe not next year, but maybe if Cody has a long reign, could be that. What's the odds of Braun Breaker being the one that could potentially take down a babyface Cody Rhodes and be that really uber heel that he kind of is right now? I think he's the heel that everyone is behind, which ultimately leads to a babyface change in the future. But I think right now, Braun Breaker, with his screw you mentality, like how a Stone Cold Steve Austin had, could take down a Cody Rhodes after his IC title reign and could be the one to really take down Cody Rhodes and become that new face for SmackDown. That is just my opinion. I think that's a pretty good dark horse shout. I would say there is some others that could win it over him, like The Rock, for example. But for me, don't tell me that's not a bad shout to call Braun Breaker as a potential in the future. Up next, we have Nia Jax. I'm still going to go Tiffany Stratton because of a cash-in opportunity. I think it makes the most sense. I also really like making this video right before a big PLE adds Bad Blood, because I think there could be some title changes. For example, a cash-in attempt there. Who do I think is the dark horse now? Last time I say Jade Cargill because they always kind of hinted at their kind of beef. I'm going to go now with Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair makes a lot of sense. I think they're destined to have a match. It's just, does Charlotte Flair take it off Nia Jax? I think so. I think that's where we're going to go to. And I think Tiffany Stratton is either going to cash in on that match or cash in against Charlotte Flair. And I think, honestly, truthfully, I think Charlotte Flair makes a lot of sense to come back from injury and win a title. I know everyone hates it when it happens, but I think it just makes a lot of sense. I think it would not hurt Nia Jax. I think it makes sense in this reign, but I ultimately believe that the match is going to end with Charlotte Flair maybe winning the title and then Tiffany Stratton immediately cashing in, or the other way around, or Tiffany Stratton distracts a Nia Jax or something like that and ultimately gets it. I don't know. Something like that could happen. I believe, just honestly, there's going to be a little feud between the three of them, plus maybe Bayley, plus somebody else. Up next, we have LA Knight. I already have my dark horse here. You can already see who the dark horse is, which is kind of awkward, but let's just kind of talk about it. Let's go first with who I think. Originally, I said Jacob Fatu last time. I am now going to go with Carmelo Hayes because I've now been thinking about Jacob Fatu potentially winning a title. Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Yes, I think it's fantasy booking overall. But I do want to say that I think, do we really see that happen with Solo Sikoa not even winning a singles title yet? I don't know. I don't think it makes sense, and that's if you're trying not to make Jacob Fatu overshadow Solo Sikoa. But if you don't care about that, then put Jacob Fatu in that title picture. My dark horse is Obafemi, which this one's a shout. This one's truthfully a shout that I am truthfully a little hesitant on, because I'd rather see Obafemi win this title maybe at SummerSlam or winning it before SummerSlam at a different PLE. Does that happen, though? Is that 100% something that could happen? I don't know. I generally believe that Obafemi is destined to make a main title jump, and I think it's going to happen next year. It's just would he be able to win this title? And I think the U.S. title, for example, is a place that needs a little bit more prestigious health and needs somebody to hold that prestige. And Obafemi is the person to do that, in my opinion, just how Gunther did it with the IC title. Obafemi could do this with the U.S. title. I think he'll make the jump from, what is it called? NXT to SmackDown, because I think that's going to be the next 3-hour show. I think LA Knight is going to probably hold this till maybe till WrestleMania, maybe a little after WrestleMania, which that's the thing that makes me really interested to see when would Obafemi be able to win this championship. And then maybe if he's still holding this somehow till SmackDown, then or until SummerSlam, then I definitely think Obafemi could easily take this, just how Braun Breaker did. It would be kind of interested to see if they kind of do the same thing, like how Gunther with LA Knight. Gunther lost his championship, or Sammy lost the championship. Whatever I'm trying to say. Braun Breaker immediately joins in and gets a title at SummerSlam. Obafemi joins in and gets a title. I'd be interested if they do that, but that's the dark horse for me. Up next, we have Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga with the WWE Tag Team Championships. Who do I think? This is the one that's going to be boring, and I'm going to kind of skim over a little bit because it's similar to last time. I still think it's going to be Street Profits, and I still think my dark horse is DIY. I don't think you could have done DIY that dirty and not have them at least go for this. And also, Street Profits is destined to win these tag titles again sometime. It's just really when. I feel like it's going to be after Survivor Series, probably right before Royal Rumble, maybe at Royal Rumble. I'd be interested to see just when it happens, because for now, the SmackDown division does not look good. I'm going to be 100% honest. Does not look good. I think a lot of just divisions don't look good right now, honestly. Even the Raw division. And so Street Profits, they're the ones that I think deserve to win coming up, unless two solo stars join in to beat them. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Up next, we have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the first switch up on here. I did not expect them to win these tag titles again, because I said even in the video that it could be them, but truthfully, they broke them up as to be solo again, so I thought they would keep going to be solo. Didn't happen in the end. So who do I think? Well, this one's going to be a little bit awkward because I'm still going to stick with Pure Fusion Collective. I think this kind of new stable does deserve some gold for the future, and I think them winning the gold makes a lot of sense. Dark Horse is going to be Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I think the fact is that I think these two can to get some gold again like they did in the past. But also, I want to say, I believe that when you have a Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the only thing that's going to hurt them and make them lose this title, which will ultimately get them to a Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill match, is going to be either one, the chemistry is off and they get screwed over, or two, a triple threat match. To me, it makes a lot of sense for Chelsea Green and Piper Niven to win it off of them and to really screw them over with underhand tactics, with something happening, and it's a huge thing that goes on and they win the tag titles. Whatever it might be, I think that's what we're going to be looking at. And that's why they're my dark horse, but I still believe that Pure Fusion Collective is probably next in line to win these. Up next, we have Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. I still believe it's going to be Trick Williams, but I am switching up my dark horse on this. I am going to go Tony D'Angelo, somebody that I originally said Wesley. This was before a heel turn where Wesley looked like, he's still babyface, uber babyface. Looks like he needs to go into a new position. And I felt like after maybe a tag team championship win, he would take some time, lose those tag team titles, and then grow into an NXT champion. Looks like we got heel him instead. I am going to still say Trick Williams, though, because right now there's a contendership to go against Pete Dunne. I think Trick Williams versus Ethan Page one-on-one is going to end with a Trick Williams win. I don't think they're going to make Ethan Page win that match. If Joe Hendry isn't winning this tag title, then then I don't think anyone else could, unless it's Tony D'Angelo, if they really want to boost him up as high as he can. I think he deserves an NXT championship or a North American championship in the future. It's just which one, in my opinion. For now, I want to say it's going to be NXT Championship because he's proven that he could probably have a good match and win, but it could be the North American Championship instead. Up next, we have Roxanne Perez. This is obviously still going to be Julia with her finally debuting on Raw, or not Raw, on NXT, No Mercy. There is no dark horse here because it is going to be Julia. I wouldn't be shocked when I do this next series if she was holding the title because they're going to have the match on the new CW episode. I'm super interested into this match. I think a lot of people are as well. This is going to be a great match, and it's going to be crazy when Julia probably wins straight up this next upcoming big episode next onto the CW. Up next, we have Obafemi. Who do I think? If you want to be honest, I think no one, and I think he's going to lose through a triple threat match, but who is going to be the one to take it from him? Right now, the only one that makes a lot of sense, which it's going to happen probably during Stand and Deliver, is what our next Stand and Deliver, or is it always called Stand and Deliver? That's actually a question that I don't know. Whatever the next WrestleMania event is going to be for them, it's going to happen there. And right now for me, it's Javon Evans. That's the only person I could see winning this through a triple threat match and doesn't pin Obafemi and has an insane match, and just he's someone that's super young that they can really push, that has already shown that he could be a really good talent in the future. Maybe work on his promo skills a little bit, but he's improving. I think that's the biggest thing that we need to see. So I'm very excited to see what could happen with that, and I think Javon Evans makes a lot of sense. My other dark horse is Wes Lee. I think Wes Lee is somebody that, truthfully, it would be interesting if he gets another chance at this tag, or I keep saying tag title, this title. But Wes Lee, this new heel persona, I love. I think the only thing that's holding me back on this one is that I feel like he would get cost by, the Rascals. But I also want to say that this new heel persona somehow climbs his way up to win this title, gets in a triple threat match with him, maybe Wentz is in it, maybe it's Obafemi, and we see Wes Lee pin Wentz to win the title, and it doesn't even hurt Obafemi. Something like that could happen. I definitely see. I'm just trying to go with hypotheticals that could take this title off Obafemi because it looks like it's never going to happen. Up next, we have Kalani Jordan. I still am going to stick by Sol Ruka, but my new dark horse is Lola Vice. I think Sol Ruka is destined to win this title. They've already put her in so much promotion type of videos that clearly they have a big thing for her, and she, in my opinion, is title ready. Lola Vice is another one that I think is also title ready, and they have incredibly put into different ads, different promotional videos. I think it's just, when is it going to happen? And I think it happens at a bigger PLE, if anything, for NXT. It could happen at Havoc, maybe. I'm trying to think of some other areas it could have been at. Maybe it is Vengeance Day, something crazy, or maybe it's, I think, I don't know, New Year's, something like that. I do believe that we're going to see it rather than not. Up next, we have the new tag team titles, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, which technically were the exact same last time, but in the time they somehow won it back. I don't know at all, because I think when you look at every single tag team, it just does not make sense. I don't think Gallius makes sense. I don't think Hank and Tank makes sense. I think it could be Chase U again, but I think Ridge is going to attack him if that happens. I don't think it's going to be the Rascals because clearly WWE is not ready to put to their title on somebody on TNA, especially when Zachary Wentz just literally won the X Championship. So I don't know right now. I think it's really too early to tell. I think they're going to keep this for a long time till two solo stars combine. That's what I really think. But my dark horse is AOP because I think AOP, they're in this weird area with the Final Testament right now on Raw, where I think they could go back to NXT for a little bit. And AOP could really develop themselves into the great tag team championships that they once were. And I think, they've already kind of had this feud. I think it could happen again. I could see them winning. This one's just really hard to say. I think obviously it's going to be really hard to pick. Now looking at Raw, Who do I think? It's a little bit of a changeup. I think John Cena is going to be the one to dethrone Gunther. At the end of the day, he's destined to win this title. I think that's going to be number 17, and it's going to be a huge thing for him because number 17 is going to solidify him as the GOAT. He's going to have his name on this new title. This new title is going to look a little bit better. That's what I think is going to happen. Dark Horse is still going to be Braun Breaker. I just voice cracked, but I originally had this flipped. I thought Braun Breaker was going to be the first, and then but Dark Horse John Cena. I now am starting to believe this. I think Braun Breaker is going to have a big year, but I think they're going to wait a little bit with Braun Breaker, in my opinion. And probably he's going to be the one to take it off Cena. I think that's what they're going, but nothing too different from my other predictions. Liv Morgan, another different one. It's going to be Rhea Ripley. It's just win. And there's nobody else that could take this from her. The biggest craziness could happen is that there's somehow a triple threat or something like that gets involved and they win it off of somebody other than that. I don't know. That's the craziness that could happen, but it's not going to happen. I'm just being truthful. It's not going to happen. Up next, we have Braun Breaker. This one didn't really change as much. Who I think it's Ilya Dragunov. Dark Horse is John Cena now. I think Ilya is still in line to win this off Braun Breaker, in my opinion, and to really hold this title for a long, long time. My Dark Horse is now John Cena because I could see a way where John Cena wins this title off Braun Breaker, loses it to maybe an Ilya Dragunov, a Sheamus, somebody like that, to really give Grand Slam winner to John Cena. And then what goes on is Breaker goes for the main title. John Cena then also goes for the main title, wins the main title, and maybe jumps over Braun Breaker in some sense. John Cena is now holding the championship. Breaker wins the championship off John Cena and says it's revenge for stealing his IC title. Something like that. That's just a hypothetical that I have that I could see really go on. Ilya Dragunov is ultimately, though, I think they're going to steal this off Braun Breaker. Up next, and finally, Judgment Day, which at this time, before when I was doing this, and I have this question mark here still, there wasn't a name for them. There wasn't anything. That Street Trash was thrown around, but nothing really happened. They are still going to be called the Judgment Day. Who do I think? I literally flipped it again. I think it's going to be Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, and Dark Horse is Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso. There is no way in hell this is anybody else. It's kind of weird that I think they just delayed it a little bit, where we originally were going to get a match and probably they lose the tag titles, but now instead they've kept the tag titles, and Jimmy and Sami are in their little own feuds right now, and then I feel like later on are going to join together to win these tag titles, probably at Crown Jewel is what my guess is going to be, and then they enter Survivor Series, now showing the bloodline that they have their own gold. That's what the guess is for me. But the dark horse here is Jey and Jimmy, because ultimately if Jimmy's coming back to help Jey, then maybe they get their tag titles and they're the ones holding it on the bloodline story. We will have to see. This is one that is just really who's going to hold it entering Survivor Series. It'll be interesting. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is another video that was basically explaining the same thing, happened with some different things. We're going to have to see what happens, because I think a lot of this is going to not really change in the next month, possibly some. But yeah, let's just get going, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.